tonight representing the Warriors ownership group, Joe Lacob and Peter Guber, and to present the 2017 NBA Championship Trophy to your Golden State Warriors, please welcome NBA Commissioner Adam Silver.
Thank you, Doris. We saw basketball played at the highest level. Historic playoff runs by two teams, which will raise the bar for players and teams for generations to come. Let me first thank the Cleveland Cavaliers, their owner Dan Gilbert, GM David Griffin, Coach Lou. What an incredible performance they put on. Thank you. And now to the Golden State Warriors. A few thank yous. Steve Kerr, incredible to see you out here. Coach Brown. To their GM, Bob Myers, Jerry West, and to Joe Lacob and Peter Guber. Congratulations, guys. You are the NBA champions.
Turnt Up TV, Colorado's #1 show for sports, music, entertainment, and of course, Colorado hip-hop, man. I am your host, Lance Mijares. We are back, man. Turnt Up TV. I apologize to our core base, man. We have been in a ruts for the last few months. Switching studios, man. Trying to get it figured out where we're going to be. Finally settled down, man. New studio up here in Loveland, Colorado. So all my Turnt Up TV fans, artists, everybody out there, I promise you we're going to have some new material coming from Turnt Up TV, man, as well as new interviews, as well as a morning show. Like I say, I'm going to be jumping on, giving you guys that Turnt Up TV in the morning. My take, like I used to, I know a lot of people have been asking, man, get back on the mic, give us your take about what's going on with everything. Golden State obviously just won. We're going to get into all that. We're going to talk a little about KD, hello LeBron, and then we're going to mix it up a little bit, man, talk about some mainstream stuff going on in the music world, stuff like that. So once again, man, Turnt Up TV is back, full effect. Thank you guys for sticking through. Like I say, we will have Turnt Up TV radio coming back in rotation, where we'll be featuring Colorado hip-hop artists as well as other artists from around the world. And man, I'm just happy to be back, bro. Like I say, real talk, I had a lot of people ask me what's up with the show, because Turnt Up TV, believe it or not, and a lot of people validate this for you, is a big part of Colorado hip-hop here in the Box State, especially Northern Colorado. A lot of people hit me up. I just got hit up yesterday from the homie up in Nina 9, Colorado Springs, saying he got more music for the team. So that's what we're here for, man. Turnt Up TV for y'all who we're going to bring new audience in. We've been going strong for about 5 years, man. We just hit over 67,000 listens as an independent podcast. Was a part of the iHeartRadio family for about 3 years. No longer a part of that, which is fine with us because we just get to do things a little bit more independent, man. So shout out to everybody listening, man. Also shout out to our sponsor, Pruvn Clothing. Make sure you follow them on Instagram, Pruvn_clothing, as well as Turnt Up as well as Instagram, Facebook, all that shit, man. So obviously, let's go ahead and get into it right there. Kevin Durant validates his move to Golden State and shuts up all the haters. I don't know about that. I know people still going to be talking about that, but they did pull it off last night, winning 129-120 over the Cleveland Cavaliers in a Game 5, 3-1, came back up. People thought the story was going to get told again, but Golden State, man, let me talk a little bit about Golden State. First off, Golden State comes out and just annihilates everyone, including my Spurs. Would have been a different story with Kawhi, but we'll talk about that another day. Fuck you, Zaza. The Golden State Warriors are they're just that good. Plain and simple, man. Like, you could really just, Sean Livingston coming off the bench. I mean, the dude's handles are unbelievable, and he's coming off the bench. Klay Thompson obviously got it going. Started off pretty cold, but started hitting shots, being really consistent, almost scoring 30 points in a quarter. Draymond Green, obviously you know the energy that he brings. 2 NBA Finals MVPs now, with Kevin Durant winning it last night. Steph Curry, 2-time league MVP. And another thing that kind of hit everybody too was David West, man. Made the move from the Spurs, left us last year, came over, and was big for them. And it's JaVale McGee. It's crazy. The whole team just literally was set up so good for Steve Kerr to even step away. And I'm glad to see that he's back with the back problems and all the stuff he's been having. Because that team in the NBA just is a lot better with Steve Kerr. I like Steve Kerr as a coach. I really dig his style. And it was unfortunate that he had to miss some of those games. But back to Golden State, man. They're just that damn good. And I just heard one of the announcers say earlier, they probably could have won it without KD. And that's real talk. They probably would have struggled and probably met. I don't know if they would have got through the Spurs, but OKC would have been bumping heads with somebody in the West. I mean, they made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. And we talk about, I heard all this about KD's move as the weakest move in the NBA history. And I started kind of agreeing with that. I was like, that is pretty fucking weak. KD's just going to dip and go over here. I thought that for a long time. I still kind of feel that way. I do kind of feel that way. But I started thinking about it a little bit. Wasn't LeBron's move the weakest move in the NBA? So you're talking about KD, right? And this is mostly goes back to Stephen A's comment, talking about there's the weakest move by a superstar ever. Okay, I totally understand that. We understand that we're in the era of, you want to win the championship, man, you can't just do it on your own anymore. Kobe, he couldn't do it at the end by himself. You need key players, and not just key players, but big key players these days. Big key players. Andre Iguodala was a big player. He's a big player that people don't think about. Obviously, Sean Livingston, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, all those guys are huge players for those teams. But when it comes down to it, man, they're just that damn good. And Cleveland is I just don't think they have it. I just don't think they have what it takes to keep up with them anymore. And we talked about, like I said, go back to LeBron James. I think that was the weakest move in NBA history. You're supposed to be the next LeBron, or Jordan, right? I'm sorry. You're supposed to be the next Michael Jordan. You're supposed to be the greatest thing to come out, the next prophecy, whatever, all all this stuff, King James, the chosen one. That would be like back in the day if Jordan just dipped. And I know we've seen all the memes and all the stuff about him with different jerseys on and stuff, but people don't go back to that. I think that is the weakest move for a superstar in NBA history. For LeBron James, the chosen one, the one that should be the greatest basketball player, even better than Jordan, they say, to go and join Chris Bosh and to go and join D Wade and to go down there and be a part of the Miami Heat and that whole franchise. I just think that was weak, man. But we're in a different time these days, different game. Big guys are shooting threes. There's not really too much post moves really going on. And you got to adapt. Kevin Durant, Golden State Warriors pulled it off last night. I'm not going to lie, I was rooting for 7. I didn't think it would go 7. I was rooting for the Cavaliers overall because I wanted the Cavs to win because I wanted to see this thing fall apart. Who didn't want to see this thing fall apart? That wasn't a Cavs or a Warriors fan, right? Who wouldn't want to see them go spend all this money on KD and stack this power team and then it not work? But that's what a lot of us were rooting for if you weren't Warriors fans. I know I was. I was personally. I'm not going to lie. 100% I was rooting for for Cleveland because I wanted to see it not work. I wanted it to be validated in our opinion of KD going over there as a weak move. Again, I seen KD's mama on ESPN explaining it, and it makes sense. It does. It makes sense. You can't blame anybody for chasing money. Can't ever blame that. Superstar, I don't know. I think that's different because they have money. KD is set for life probably, even if he never made another dollar. But I just think, like what KD's mom said, I think it's Wanda Durant, sorry. She said, was it weak for Stephen A. Smith to leave all those other places and go to ESPN and join the big teams? And when she put that out, I was like, okay, I see a little bit of validation there. But Golden State Warriors, man, they're the champs. Last night, pulled it off. Was unfortunate for Golden State fans that they didn't do it on Friday night. They ended up doing it on a Monday night. So there's probably going to be a lot of people calling in Oakland today playing hooky, man. They're going to have that championship. KD was named the Finals MVP. Him and Steph Curry were amazing through the playoffs. But let's talk. So we've been talking about, obviously the champions won it all. Probably gonna have a chance to win it a good run for a good amount of time. I would say 5 years. I would say that, man. 5 years. They got to run. Who knows what else they could pull off and bring in. Steph's still young. Klay Thompson's still young. Draymond's still young. Kevin Durant's still young. I think this is a big problem for the NBA. This kind of brings us into we're going to get into our next topic in a little bit about is this bad for the NBA, and we'll talk about that. But let's go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs, man, I don't know where you can go from here, right? You did all you could to bring in everybody that you can to try to beat this stacked team, and I think the only way that LeBron is going to be happy is if he legitimately gets another big superstar name to go along with him. I think he sees exactly what Golden State has done, and I think he knows with everything he has to get someone else in there. Something has to happen, and which that means that someone's got to leave, but something's got to happen with the team, man. You got Kevin Love, who last night, I don't think he scored. He had 0 points into the third, maybe I think that's what the stat was. I know he had 0 points at one point deep into the game. Kyrie Irving, he gets started late at away games. You've seen the first 2 games, he was almost not even there. Goes home, plays great, cool, but you can't win championships unless you can win on the road, right? So it comes down to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got to really figure out some shit. Like King James has got to sit back, and he's really got to evaluate what the fuck is going to go on with these Cavaliers in the next couple years or next year, off season now, because you've seen that, man. They got one of the best 3-pointer shooters in NBA history, Kyle Korver, to come over. They got J.R. Smith, who was still shooting lights out. But I think, like we talked about, it's the inconsistency of everybody. J.R. Smith was gone for a while. Then he showed up. Shumpert sometimes will come in and give you some points. D. Will, I thought that was supposed to, I was really, really, really rooting for him, really happy for Darren Williams to be, playing again after all the injuries and everything from Utah to Brooklyn. But he had a couple wide open. He had some terrible turnovers. Terrible. They were terrible. Some terrible turnovers. Like, I couldn't understand. I'm like, dude, you're playing point guard. You've been playing point guard your whole life. Some of these passes he was throwing out led to some fast break opportunities, led to some easy points. So they had to pull his ass out, which didn't give Kyrie a lot of time to sit back and just rest. Right? So he was tired. LeBron was missing free throws. We had free throws missed. Kevin Love was missing free throws. Tristan Thompson. I'm jumping all over the Cavs, man. But Tristan Thompson, bro, the money they are paying this man and the performance he's not worth it. That's the other thing too. If you want to trade him, you're not gonna get no trade value for Tristan Thompson. No one's gonna want his ass. Kevin Love, after he performed in these playoffs, who's gonna want his ass? D. Will, you won't get nothing for him. J.R. Smith, you're not going to get really anything for him. If anything, if you're going to get anything from getting rid of someone from the Cavs, it's going to be Kyrie Irving. And that's going to be roster changing, game changing, franchise changing. Because this kid's supposed to finish the franchise even after LeBron's gone, right? And Kyrie Irving is amazing. This boy, and I know we talked about it takes him a while to get it going and to get playing, which is one of his downfalls. But once he does, his handles, his finishes with his left hand, his swag, his confidence, he could be that. And I think sometimes playing with LeBron takes a little bit of that away. And I don't know how they get that figured out, because it kind of seems that way too. That like LeBron could get going, and then Kyrie Irving is in there. The only time they end up pulling games off is what they did in 3 is when they both ended up balling out and getting through. So I don't know what's going to go on with the Cavs, man. They got to make some moves. They either got to bring someone in, they got to trade Kyrie, they got to. The other thing I could suggest that would really make sense to me, and I think a lot of NBA fans would agree, is I think they got to get a better coach. Ty Lue, I don't think I don't think that he's a guy who will bring everything out of him, man. Just dead honest right there. I don't think that he's not a Popovich that will, obviously no one will ever be Pop. Shout out Pop. No one will ever be Pop, but someone like him or even like Steve Kerr who will get on your ass. is someone who get at you and get you fired up and inspired. I think it's hard for some of those Cavs to follow him. I really do. So